hope everything is clear. Good afternoon to all. We are going to start, as we have started already in the last lecture, spinal cord injury, and we are going to discuss more in depth about the disease. So, yesterday, in the last lecture, day before yesterday, we talked about what is spinal cord injury. So, spinal cord injury is a low incidence but high cost disability. Yes, it is not occurring that frequently. Low incidence means frequency is less, but it has once it has happened, the cost of disability is very high. That is, the patient will have some form of paralysis or some form of disability that will persist throughout the life. Disabilities are irreversible. Yes, we can have other ways in which the patient can work out, but we cannot have the same function regained again. Requiring tremendous change in an individual's lifestyle. So that is compensatory changes. Yes, remember the word compensation. Yes, something that you cannot reverse, you can compensate. Once a mistake has been done, once an incident has been done, you cannot reverse it, but what you can provide is compensation. Compensation in the form of you can change the lifestyle of an individual, how the patient works for the daily living and changes in the activities of daily living. We talked about etiology, that is traumatic and non-traumatic. The most common one, 70% of which will be traumatic, in which there is road traffic accident. Also, there will be fall, gunshot wounds, and recreational sports injury. Yes, these are some common ways in which a patient might get spinal cord injury. Non-traumatic involves muscular malformation. Yes, related to blood vessels. Malformation, that is anatomically the patient has difficulty, or anatomically the patient did not have proper development from the intrauterine life up to the age in which it is diagnosed. Vertebral subluxation. Subluxation is different from dislocation. How it is dislocation different? Complete loss of contact of the two articulating surfaces will be dislocation. Subluxation means only a part of it is moved away from the normal position. Infections also can cause, specifically we talked about TB. Neoplasm, syringomyelia, and multiple sclerosis of ALS can also cause this type of spinal cord injury. ALS and multiple sclerosis also have gliosis, scar formation, and because of this scar formation in the spinal cord, that will directly lead to spinal cord injury. Neoplasm and syringomyelia. Syringomyelia is again one type of malformation, but it is for meninges. Meninges સરખા develop નહીં થાય ત્યારે થશે meningeal malformation, and that will come as syringomyelia. We are going to see, you might have also been studying it in pediatrics. Yes, and neoplasm, that is abnormal mass or new mass formation at specific level, that can lead to directly compression of the spinal cord, and because of the compression there will be injury. Now comes classification. So what is the classification in which we are going to study or see about the spinal cord injury? So spinal cord, if it is injured at different levels, different will be the signs and symptoms and the body area region affected. Say for example at C2, C3 level, so directly spinal cord injury થાય, then there are chances the patient will not survive. Why? Because diaphragm is supplied by phrenic nerve, which originates from the C2 level and beyond, C3, C4, C5. So if phrenic nerve is involved, diaphragm will be paralyzed. Diaphragm paralyzed, that means the patient will not be able to inspire air. The patient will die. So depending on the classification, depending on the level of the lesion, we are going to see what the condition the patient might have. So the first terminology that we are going to use is tetraplegia. Tetra means all the four. Yes. So complete paralysis of all four extremities and trunk, including respiratory muscles. Respiratory muscles here, it might lead to diaphragm if the level is higher enough, or it might also lead to other accessory respiratory muscles like intercostal muscles. Intercostal muscles, they are supplied by each segment. So if it is supplied from the cervical region, there might be directly leading to tetraplegia. Paraplegia, complete paralysis of all four or part of trunk and both lower extremities. So part of the trunk, lower part of the trunk and both the lower extremities. Once they get involved, it will be termed as para, meaning lower limbs. Plegia. Result from lesion in the thoracic or lumbar spinal cord or cauda equina. The spinal cord, it gets over almost at the level of L4 or L5, beyond which only the peripheral nerves, yes, peripheral nerves are transmitted or are moving away from the vertebral column, moving out into the periphery. L4, L5 or sometimes even L3, L4, the spinal cord gets over. Yes. So NCR peripheral nerves. So peripheral nerves, this make a structure, yes, which is termed as cauda equina. Like it resembles a tail of a horse. Yes, it resembles like a tail of a horse. Yes, this way. So these are all peripheral nerves originating from the terminal region of the spinal cord. So any injury to that will lead to paraplegia. Now these are some levels that from the picture itself you can make it out that these, if anywhere injury is, what will be the sign and symptoms or which areas of the body will be affected directly. If the injury is at C4 level, cervical level C4, yes, that will lead to cervical or from the neck muscles, everything will be involved. So you can see here, from below the neck region, everything is involved. Yes, even the respiratory accessory muscles will be involved. If it is C6, that is also causing paraplegia. Here you can see only the neck was spread. Here some muscles of the upper trapezius and the muscles of shoulder might also be spared, which is C6 level. T6 level causing again paraplegia. Why paraplegia? Because upper limbs are spared. Yes, you need to remember brachial plexus. Yes, what is the root value of brachial plexus? Can anyone tell me? What is the root value of brachial plexus? It starts and ends at which level of spinal cord? Which are the spinal peripheral nerves forming the brachial plexus?
C7 to T4.
C7 to T4. Okay. Is something missing? This is way too much, this is way too low. Yes.
C5 to T1.
Very true. It is almost every time C5 to T1. Yes. It might extend from C4 to T2 sometimes, but this is the most common one, C5 to T1. Yes. So if it is at T6 level, upper limbs are spared. If it is at T3, T4 level, T5 level, upper limbs will be relatively spared. Why? Brachial plexus does not include those peripheral nerves or spinal peripheral nerves. So T6 will lead to paraplegia, the muscles that are supplied from the abdomen down to all the lower limbs. Yes, and always remember when the spinal cord is injured at any level, say for example I injured the C6 level, that means up to here it will be normal, all the functions will be normal, but below it everything has lost connection. It is like a wire. We are talking about spinal cord, not vertebral column. Spinal cord is the extension of the brain, which is maintained or which is protected by the vertebral column. Yes, so the vertebra that you palpate, that is not spinal cord. Spinal cord is between the vertebral column. So this is like a connection. Brain has to supply or brain has to provide signal to the spinal cord so that the periphery can work according to the voluntary action that you desire. જે પણ એક્શન કરવી છે બ્રેનને સિગ્નલ આપવું પડે. If spinal cord is cut or injured at any level, the wiring is gone. Yes, so the connection is lost. When connection is lost, lower any portion will not receive any type of signal. कोई signal नीचे મળશે નહીં. The signal नहीं મળે, that means no voluntary action. Sensory loss as well as motor loss will be there. So T6, it is injury is at the T6 level. Here if injury is there, all the lower functions will be lost. And L1 level only paraplegia, L1 and below only the muscles of the lower limb will be affected. There will not be any involvement specifically of the thorax, upper limb, or neck and face. Yes, so this is how it is relatively spared. So you see, જેટલું વધારે or જેટલું ઉપર ઇન્જરી થશે એટલું વધારે પેશન્ટને ડિસેબિલિટી આવશે. The patient will not be able to do much more work if the injury is higher and the injury is lower. એટલું વધારે patient independent જલ્દી થઈ શકશે. Yes, so that is the conclusion you can make from designation of lesion level. From this, there are two things. The first one, that why we should know at which level the injury is there, and also only we should know or all the professionals should know. ખાલી physiotherapist ને ખબર હોવી જોઈએ, neurophysician ને ખબર હોવી જોઈએ કે બધાને ખબર હોવી જોઈએ that it is needed. આવું એક classification જોઈએ or કયા level injury છે એ ખબર હોવી જોઈએ. Yes, so for that, to answer that, American Spinal Cord Injury Association, ASIA, ASIA, created international standards of neurological classification of spinal cord injury, which is ISN-CSCI. Yes, we need to remember these names. Yes, it provides a standardized examination method, allows better communication between the professionals, provide guidance for establishing the prognosis, and important tools for clinical research trials. આ સ્કેલ શું કામ કરવું છે? Designate કરવા માટે કે ક્યાં injury છે. When I say that T4 level is injured for this patient, first I can easily communicate with other professional. A neurophysician is telling a physiotherapist, or a physiotherapist is telling to another physiotherapist. So they will know which functions are affected and what is spared. Yes, so T3 level will be normal and T5 level will be lost. Directly from this we can make it up. Yes, so first thing, communication, it becomes easier. Also, it is a standard examination method. Neurophysician examine करे, physiotherapist examine करे, nursing department examine करे, और social worker पर examine करे कि कैसे શું આ patient માટે કે T4 level જ injury છે. તો એક જ diagnosis, બધા એક સરખું જ diagnosis આપશે. Third, guidance for establishing the prognosis. From the previous picture, we can directly say that the patient, if the higher the level of injury, the worst will be the prognosis. So directly from this we can make it out, yes, the prognosis won't be good if it is T4 level compared to L1 level. If it is C5, C6 level, prognosis is still worse. And important tool for clinical research trials. So for research purpose also we are using such scale as an outcome measure to measure how much the patient has gained, how much the patient cannot lose. When I say that T4 level is injury, what does that mean? That might mean T4 level might be normal. T4 level normal માં પણ બે વસ્તુ, sensory and motor, two normal છે. Yes, so it is important to define T4 level is affected. If I say that means T3 level is normal. T3 level is normal, so શું normal છે? Sensory, motor કે બંને? Yes, so it is important to understand the terms, that is what is neurological level, what is motor level, and what is sensory level. All the three are important terms and we have to understand this. So first, understanding what is neurological level. Neurological level, that means most caudal level of the spinal cord with normal motor and sensory function on both left and right side of the body. Say for example, T4 level injury is there. Yes, we continue the same example as we had discussed. So T3 will be normal. Yes, T3 motor plus sensory, M plus S, motor and sensory is normal. T4 motor is normal but sensory is affected. T4 motor is normal but sensory is affected, and T5 everything is lost. Yes, so most caudal region, most uppermost region or સૌથી ઉપરનો જે લેવલ છે, most caudal means સૌથી ઉપર, જ્યાં motor અને sensory બંને normal છે, એને કહેવાય neurological level. So here in our case T3 will be the neurological level. Yes, so neurological level is T3, જ્યાં motor and sensory are completely normal. Yes, no change. Second, motor level. motor level. Here we talk about example T4 is normal motor, sensory is affected. So here most caudal region where motor is normal, so it will be T4. So motor level is T4 where motor is normal. Yes, and again checking for sensory, you find it is T3. So sensory level is T3. Yes, so overall there are 3 levels in which the patient can be classified. The most appropriate that we use as physical therapist or even a medical professional, they will always refer to neurological level. Yes, so they will tell you T4 level affected, that means above that everything is normal. If I had to say only sensory is affected from T5 and comfort, that is not valid, right? Because neurological level should include both motor and sensory function. Motor and sensory બંને એક સાથે જોવાના, and then only you can tell this, say for example in our case T3 is normal. How do you check for such cases? How do you check for motor and sensory level? Spinal cord na motor and sensory level ને કઈ રીતે examine કરશો? We have learned something in assessment. What is it? How to check? Yes, let me know. How do you check motor level and sensory level? હું કઈ રીતે કહી શકું કે T3, T4 is affected, T5 is normal, C6 is normal, C7 is affected. How will I know? By what method? Yes.
So dermatomes and myotome?
Very true, exactly. So dermatomes and myotomes. That is why we have given so much time to assessment. Yes, dermatomes and myotomes. Dermatomes for sensory level, sensory function, and myotomes for muscle action, or you can say motor response. So you should know all the dermatomes, all the myotomes, and then check for if which level is affected. That is how in spinal cord injury you will know which level is affected, which is normal, which is abnormal. All things can only be known through dermatomes and myotomes. So if you don't know dermatomes and myotomes, you cannot check which level it is. If you cannot check, you cannot give proper treatment, maybe medication or physical therapy treatment. After this, once you have decided T3, T4, whatever the level is, here in our case, that example we are discussing, it is incomplete type of injury. Why incomplete? Because motor level normal છે, T4 માં motor normal છે અને sensory affected છે. That means whole spinal cord is not cut. આખી spinal cord કપાઈ ગઈ હોય T4 level, and that means motor એ ના હોય અને sensory પણ ના હોય. But here in our case, motor is there, sensory is not there. So this is an example of incomplete type of injury. Hence, we can say the patient is of T4 incomplete type of spinal cord injury. T4 incomplete SCI, spinal cord injury. Complete means no sensory or motor function in the lowest sacral segments, S4, S5, and incomplete having motor or sensory function below the neurological level, including sensory and motor function at S4 and S5. At times, there is a zone of partial preservation. That is, motor or sensory function below the level of lesion are present, but does not the function of S4 and S5. Why are S4 and S5 so emphasized? Here lies the main function of centers for Vogel and Bladder. Yes, so if S4 and S5 are affected, Vogel and Bladder will be affected for that individual, and this will be a kind of element lesion. So there will be flaccid bladder. Motor sensory function below the level of lesion is present, but does not have function of S4 and S5. That is for Vogel and Bladder. So there can be complete, incomplete injury. Yes, along with the level of injury. So level of injury, if it is complete or incomplete, and MPN you write spinal cord injury to denote what is the final diagnosis of the patient. Now coming to an important aspect, clinical syndromes. Now, as you will be aware of the spinal cord, the structures of the spinal cord and the anatomy. Yes, it is a butterfly shaped structure. If you take it, a transverse section, and from that passes various anterior and posteriorly tracks. tracks, ascending and descending tracks. Yes. So there are various forms or various syndromes that tell if some portion is affected. Say for example, one half of the spinal cord is injured. Like एक side of the spinal cord compressed થઈ ગયું. This is injured. So this is one type of syndrome. What are the other possibilities? Only anterior portion is affected. Only posterior portion is affected. Only cauda equina, the tail of a horse, yes, end of the spinal cord, from the lower level it goes down. So that is compressed. So that is again one type of syndrome. So these are another types of syndrome. So first time we are going to see that one half is affected. एक side નું spinal cord compressed થાય છે, affect થાય છે. That is termed as Brown-Sequard syndrome. બીજું anterior cord syndrome, anteriorly affect થાય છે. Then opposite, posterior cord syndrome, and last cauda equina syndrome. So 4 important syndromes that we will be learning. Brown-Sequard syndrome, anterior cord syndrome, posterior cord syndrome, and also there is something central cord syndrome. That is only the central part is affected. Yes. So the spinal cord can affect one side, anterior side, posterior side, central, as well as cauda equina. All these are the syndromes that we'll be discussing one by one. In this lecture, we'll focus up to Brown-Sequard syndrome, and later on we'll move to the other parts. So Brown-Sequard syndrome, as we already described, is a kind in which there will be first affection to one half. So you can see here the same thing that we described. One half of the spinal cord is affected. So what is the cause? So come out. So the first important thing is fracture dislocation of the vertebral column. Vertebral column fracture થાય અને dislocate થઈને spinal cord ને એક બાજુ injure કરશે. Say for example, you are getting struck by something, yes, in the spinal cord or in the vertebral column. The vertebral column will break. The pedicle will break and it will get inserted into the spinal cord. Spinal cord is a neurological structure, very sensitive. Yes. So once it gets injured, this type of signs and symptoms on the same side will appear. Motor and sensory, most of them will be the same side. This side lagging, say for example, left side is affected, so left sided symptoms also. Opposite side only pain and temperature will be affected. Yes. Bullet or stab wound, yes, or expanding tumor. So tumor which is located on just one side, or a stab or gun wound directly, one shot or a stab with a knife or any sharp object will lead to laceration of the spinal cord in that region, on that side. Clinical features: ipsilateral UMN paralysis at the level of lesion. Yes, UMN paralysis, that means flaccidity. Yes, or hypotonia. Decrease in muscle tone. Same side, ipsilateral. Ipsi means same side. LMN paralysis at the level of lesion. Also, ipsilateral UMN paralysis below the level of lesion. Ipsilateral UMN paralysis below the level of lesion. Why? Because for the region in which it is affected. Yes. Say for example, અહીંયા injury થઈ. We are considering okay, Brown-Sequard. So એક બાજુ જ આપણે ગણીએ કે injury થઈ. If this is not the side view, if this is posterior view, then one side is affected. Here, the interneuron is lost. Interneuron has been cut off. Interneuron થી નીચે ક્યાંય પણ injury થાય, that will lead to element type of signs and symptoms. પણ આ બાકી બધા interneurons level છે એની તો ઉપર injury થઈ છે. So for those all regions, it will be UMN type of lesion. Understand this. Spinal cord માં એક જ જગ્યાએ. In spinal cord, injury happens when it crosses interneuron or level above. It is UMN. If it is below the level of interneuron, it is LMN. So, say for example, I am getting injured here. Yes, the example that we are taking is T4. Yes, so say consider T4 is here. It is I am getting a stab. Yes, on one side. So, ત્યાં interneuron તો કપાય. Interneuron or lower let's say તો element type signs and symptoms છે. પણ બાકી બધા neurons છે નીચે છે. એ બધા માટે તો એના interneuron થી ઉપર injury થઈ છે. Interneuron is specific to every side. Yes, there will be interneuron for T1 level, T2 level, T3 level, T4 level and so on. So T4 injury થશે Yes, that means this interneuron has been lost. This interneuron is completely lost. But if this interneuron is lost, T5 માટે જેના પછી છે or T6 or so on, which are present below that, એની માટે તો interneuron ની ઉપર injury થઈ છે. Yes, injury above the level of interneuron at that level. So it will be giving UMN type of paralysis or type of signs and symptoms. Also, ipsilateral band of cutaneous anesthesia at the level. To know what is the level of the injury, one level, that is cutaneous anesthesia, scale will have no sensation at the level of injury. T4 level ma, you will check for dermatome and you will get anesthesia in the same. This will let you know that yes, the patient is having T4 level injury, incomplete injury, because one side is affected, whole spinal cord is not cut off. Ipsilateral loss of tactile discrimination. Now here our sensory examination comes into play. Ipsilateral loss of tactile discrimination, vibration, proprioception below the level. Contralateral loss of pain and temperature below the level, and contralateral but not complete loss of touch. So touch, pain, temperature will be contralateral, opposite side. Whereas the deep sensations, proprioception, vibration, and one of the spatial sense, or we can say one of the cortical, combined cortical sense, tactile discrimination will be lost on the same side. Yes, so this is Brown-Sequard syndrome. What will the patient consider? What will be the syndrome? There will be loss of movement on the same side, and port damage will also be on the same side. Loss of pain, temperature, and sensation on the opposite side. Loss of sensation, that is touch, temperature, and pain will be opposite side, same side. Motor paralysis, affection, paralysis will be on same side. So this is what we talk about Brown-Sequard syndrome. Yes, we learned about the causes of Brown-Sequard syndrome. It may be because of fracture or dislocation of the vertebral column. It can be because of the neoplasm or because of a stab or wound injury. Also, we discussed about the signs and symptoms of the same. The sign and symptom will be same side. There will be element type of paralysis at the level of injury. For below the level, it will be UMN type. Why? Because the interneuron has been affected at the higher level. So lower part is above the interneuron current. Yes. So for that reason, it will give UMN signs below the level of the lesion. Also, to find the sensory affection, you will have the patient get sensory examination, and the dermatome which has anesthesia will be the site of affection. So that is how you differentiate from other syndromes that we are going to see further. So this was Brown-Sequard syndrome. Any doubts till now from talking of what is spinal cord injury? After that, we discussed about majorly the causes, then the classification, designation of lesion level. Designation of lesion level is that given by Asia ISNC-SCI. That is utmost important to understand. In that, it was speed, neurological level, motor level, sensory level, and after that, complete, incomplete level of lesion. Also, we talked about the first clinical syndrome, that is Brown-Sequard syndrome. Any doubts till now you have? Please let me know. Reply in the chat with yes or no. Okay. Fine. Okay. Okay, so we'll keep it till here only. In the next lecture, last lecture we do have, so in that we'll move forward and discuss more about other syndromes, and we'll complete the syndromes as well as some other features that we are going to see for spinal cord injury.